Okay. It's not working. Oh gosh. Can you just, will you write in there what we're supposed to pin? Sorry.
Oops, I'm blocking.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Let's see. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this manually. Sorry, you guys. Just typing who I am and sign up at Embark Live. It's embarklive.com, right?
No.
Embark.live. Okay, and let me pin this. Okay, cool. Sorry for the confusion there. All right, so today, and let me type this in here. Today we're talking about the changes in the industry, which is a lot. Okay, so today we're talking about 5 ways that the industry is changing. And really quick, I'm Anna Livermore from VMora. And if you aren't familiar with Makers Row, it is a platform that has a bunch of different vendors for you to look up domestically, for trim vendors, fabric vendors, companies like mine. I own a company called VMora, and at VMora we help launch fashion designers. That can be photo shoots, product development, pattern samples. We align you with the manufacturer. I do one-on-one coaching. And today, actually at 4 o'clock, we're doing a live event where I'm going to teach you guys how to cost a garment. It's going to be really great. You'll get a costing template, and I'll walk you through how to use the costing template on your own garments. So if you're interested in that, Makers Row is selling tickets. We have a link on our Instagram, and Makers Row has a link to sign up on their Instagram. So if you're interested in that, it's at 4 o'clock. Learn how to cost your garment. Yes, so I'm Anna Livermore, and we're pairing together with Makers Row to launch Embark. And Embark is a platform that is just dedicated to connecting you with the professionals and the experts that they have picked from different categories. There's lawyers, there's people like me, there's marketing experts, a whole bunch of different experts where you guys can reach out, connect. We've got videos on there, how-tos, and you can just book us straight through the Embark platform. So you can just go on, book an hour, book 30 minutes with us, and it's really great. So without further ado, that is everything, who I am, why we're doing this. If you're new to the live events, that's what we're doing. We're launching these. They've got so much content, Makers Row. It's a great platform for new designers. So pay attention. Hopefully you've been watching and you've seen a bunch of them. But so today we're talking about 5 ways the industry is changing. And obviously with COVID, there's so much that's been happening. There's so many different ways that designers are launching. I really, really feel and have seen this be beneficial for new brands, smaller design houses, the people that it's been tough for the people that are sitting on a ton of inventory that they were expecting to sell in spring that they didn't. So it's been kind of this window for smaller designers that weren't sitting on this huge amount of inventory that you guys were able to produce smaller amounts, do pop-up windows or pop-up shops, virtual pop-up shops, ways to sell direct to customer, and be able to move forward into fall because you didn't, unfortunately for these larger companies, they lost so much money in spring. It's hard for a lot of them to go forward into fall. Same with brick and mortars. So if you're selling online and you're a smaller company, there was and is a lot of really great ways that you can still benefit off of selling direct to customer and doing these smaller pop-up windows. So what I'm seeing is that the seasons like fall, normally all the stores, all the online platforms, all the brick and mortars, they'd already be selling fall. But what's happening is they're still trying to sell the spring and the summer. So the seasons are getting pushed closer to the actual season, which is great because it used to be if you wanted to buy a swimsuit and you tried to buy a swimsuit when you actually needed it, they were gone. Same with the winter coats. Winter coats, if you didn't buy it in the summer, they were gone by the time you needed it. So I'm seeing that seasons are getting pushed closer to, which is really great, I think, and I think it's great for the consumer, it's great for the designers. So seasons selling more when the season is actually happening. I don't know, it seemed to get like pushed so much further forward, like you'd have to buy your fall when it was still like 100 degrees outside and you were buying spring when there was snow on the ground. And it was like this kind of thing, like, well, if you don't buy it now, it's going to be gone. I think that that's becoming more relaxed. So that's the number one way. I always do bullet points, so I have 5 of them today. So the number one way is people are selling and purchasing clothes closer to the season that's actually happening. Number 2, brick and mortars. There's, they haven't been open for the last 3 months. And unfortunately, it's really hard for them to survive through having to pay rent and having the employees. And there's going to be a lot less brick and mortar. So the consumer now is they've been pushed into, it's like we were getting to the point of buying and purchasing and getting used to buying things online. But then all of a sudden we were catapulted into like 2030. Had things been going the way that they continued to go, people would slowly but surely get to purchase, getting used to purchasing things online. And then all of a sudden when brick and mortar is like, there wasn't any stores, you couldn't go shopping. People were forced into this online platform of buying everything online. So that's really great for the designer too, because when you're selling online, and we talk about this in my 4 o'clock costing for wholesale and retail, when you're selling online direct to customer, you are getting that retail price versus the wholesale price. So really take advantage of that. It's twice that of a wholesale, but I feel like the designer or the consumers are buying everything online and really just been forced into doing that. And on top of that, waiting longer for those packages to arrive. It used to be you would purchase something and then all of a sudden you could do next day shipping and you'd have that immediately. Now with COVID, the shipping windows are a lot longer. So that brings me into being able to do on-demand production. So the number 3, I think that sustainability and not sitting on inventory, even these larger brands that are used to doing, thousands of units are looking at doing smaller productions so that they have less to sell. There's less, that goes into the landfill if they don't sell. So doing smaller productions is more accustomed to these larger brands as well as the smaller designer that's doing, even on demand. On demand manufacturing is a new concept where you can have just one product to sell, make that product, and get that product out to your customer. So that's definitely a way that the market is changing, is this on demand. And because people are used to that longer wait, you can also do a virtual pop-up shop where you're like, okay, I'm going to sell 40 garments, 50 garments. I'm going to sell for these 5 days. Once I hit those 50 garments, I'm going to close the window and make those 50 garments and send those out to the customer. So that's new, because it used to be the customer was so used to like buying and having that immediate that they were less likely to buy something that was being custom made or that they would have to wait a few weeks for. So that's really great for the new designer. And number 4 is sustainability. And I touched a little bit on that with number 3, but people are definitely looking at sustainability of brands. Designers are looking at the sustainability of their company. And when it comes to fabrics and manufacturing and the people and everything that goes into your brand, sustainability is definitely, it's been a topic, but after all that we've been through, it's even more important to know who's making your product, what's happening with your product, where it's coming from. All of those things are mattering now more than ever. And number 5, and this one's great for designers, is there's less pressure on brands to be coming up with something new constantly. It seems like the industry was like on this train, and then all of a sudden it got out of control, where, you know, the designers are having to come up with new designs all the time, constantly new collections, new, you know, staying creative, coming up. There's fall 1, fall 2, holiday, spring 1, spring 2, summer. It's just like, it was so hard on the designers to be so creative that I think the industry is slowing down. Fast fashion is, you know, moving out just because of, you know, it was really hard for fast fashion to sit on all this merchandise and not sell because they have those thousands of units. So I think the industry is definitely slowing down, which is nice, because as a designer, having to come up with all new pieces all the time and being creative and like this demand on the designers, just, I feel like it got out of control. So going back to where you could design a fall collection, you could design a spring collection, and not have to be launching something new every single second of every single day. And that came from fast fashion, because they're turning things around and constantly, you know, bombarding the consumer, so the consumer got used to that. And I think with all that's happened, it's forced this slowdown for everybody. So I think that that's really great for new designers. So I'm going to wrap it up. Again, just run through all of my points. Number 1 is brands are launching and selling in season instead of, you know, forcing the consumer to buy 6 months ahead of time. Number 2 is the brick and mortars. With those brick and mortars not being open for so long, the consumers are getting used to buying things online. They're having to buy things online. Number 3 is the on-demand production. Is something that it's new, it's definitely going to be around, it's going to be more and more designers going to this on demand. Number 4 is sustainability is huge right now. And number 5 is there's going to be less pressure on the designers to have to come up with something new every single second of every single day. So I think the industry is slowing down. So there you have it. That is, you know, how I see the industry changing. And there's a lot of things that are really great for a smaller independent designer. So I just wanted to talk about those today so that you guys can, you know, use those to your advantage. And I'm going to open it up to questions. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to scroll and I'm going to scroll through. If you have any questions, you can just pop them in the chat. I see some waves. Hi. Okay. On demand is the new pre-order. Cool. Yeah. On demand. Great. I don't see any questions. Do you guys have any questions? You can feel free to add them into the chat. Lots of waves. Any questions about how you as a business owner can pivot, any specific examples that you want to ask me, any questions at all? No? You guys are all set? Again, thank you so much. I'm Anna from Vmora, and you can sign up for Embark Live, and you can find my profile there. Do you ask for pre-order payment? Yes. So when you are ordering when people are placing the order is when they will pay for that order. I strongly suggest doing that. Oh, now the questions are flowing through. Amazing. So yes, when you're doing a pre-order, that customer will give you their credit card and pay at the time that they order, which is also great for you because it funds your production. If you don't take payment and then you make that garment and then you're trying to collect the payment after it's made, it's more difficult. So I definitely, all my designers that are doing pre-orders are taking payment at the time the order is placed. If I'm a manufacturer in the US, but factories are imported, can I say made in the US? So if your product is made in the US, but the fabrics are imported, you say made in the USA from imported fabrics underneath. Okay, so many questions. Great. I just had to give you guys a second, huh? Okay, I was late to this event. Do you have questions? I was late to this live, but I do have a question about how to title. Okay. Can you talk about the pre-sale model? How is the timing? So for pre-sale, I would say decide to open up for 5 days. Promote beforehand and say that the pre-sale is coming so that people know to look out. Let them know that there's only going to be a 5-day window or a 7-day window, and only open it for those days. Push really hard. Do a live event. Instagram, Facebook, send out a mailer. Do as much as you can so that people know that it's happening. Then you close out that window. I would suggest having the fabric ordered already for those 40 units and then basing what sizes you're going to make of those 40 units. It doesn't have to be 40. It can be 50 units, 100 units, however many units you've decided you're going to close the selling window out at. So order the supplies first, because if you're going to order the supplies after, it's too much time, right? So have everything ready to go, have your patterns ready to go, have all the supplies ready to go. And when that window closes, put in the PO with your factory of what sizes they're making and have them go right away. And normally they can do a 40-piece unit or a 40-piece manufacturing order in 2 weeks, depending on how busy they are. And then you can ship to your customer. So your customers should have it within 4 weeks of placing that order. You might want to put a little cushion in there to say 6 weeks, but that would be my timeline for a pre-order. Do you feel 3D or virtual line sheets? Yeah, so the 3D, it's definitely getting there. For a while, the 3D model wasn't quite as good as having the actual garments made, but the technology is moving so fast every day that yes, having that 3D model and making these custom pieces off of that 3D model is saving time and pattern and sampling. So that's definitely a way that the industry is changing as well. I was looking at more of the sales of how you can operate to your customer, but 3D modeling is definitely changing every day. Okay, let's see. Are your people doing photo shoots? How are people doing photo shoots? So that's another great thing, and I should have added that in. The photo shoot, it used to be you needed a professional photographer and professional models, and everything had to be on point, perfect, and you would have this whole production. Now with COVID and social distancing, the bar has been dropped. Just get content. You can send your pieces to influencers or friends and just have them do a photo shoot in their house, have their husbands take photos, have, someone that they're been around through the social distancing take photos for them. I saw photo shoots where they were taking them through windows, the models were trying on the garments and then the photographer was outside the windows. There's so many ways that you can still take photo shoots with social distancing, and it's lowered the bar. You don't have to have this $10,000 photo shoot. Just getting photos of your garments on a human is good enough. And that's great because for you guys, you're not having to spend so much money on photo shoots. And again, the customer is getting more used to so many like larger, pretty large companies. I was talking to someone in Canada, and she's like, I'm the model on all of my spring collection because I couldn't do a photo shoot. That was the only way that I could get photos of my new pieces up. And that's fine. It's more so about making sure that you find ways to get content, and with that, it's lowered the bar of how much money and how much production you have to put into photo shoots. So yeah, all of my designers have done photo shoots. We've found creative ways to work around the social distancing. And that could just be, like I said, you as the designer trying on your garments, having someone take photos for you and using those as content. So that's been really great. Another plus for new designers. Do you have returns on pre-orders? So yes, it's still, unless you're doing custom, like if you're doing custom sizes, like they're telling you, my bust is this, my waist is this, and then you're making a specific pattern just for them. If you're making a specific pattern just for them, you don't want to take a return on that. You can do alterations, things like that. But if you're making a custom pattern for that client, you can't take a return. That just doesn't make sense. But if it's just custom sizing, then they can return. That would be my suggestion. How many pieces should you create to get proof of concept? I'm in the process of starting my own business. So if you're trying to just create a proof of concept, I would do 40 to 50 units and then sell those to make sure that there's a market for that. But yeah, you don't have to make a huge production for proof of concept. Okay. What's the average price of a sustainable swimwear? I've been in the hunt for manufacturers for months, and I'm trying to keep both the cost of the consumer under $70 for a bikini top and bottom. You should definitely take that costing class. This question is very involved, but if you can jump on, purchase a ticket for the costing class today at 4 o'clock, it would answer all of these questions. Just offhand, $70 seems a little bit low if you're trying to do sustainable, depending on how many pieces you're making. Obviously, if you're making 1,000 pieces or 5,000 pieces, the price goes down. But if you're looking to make a small production, small units, sustainable, domestically, then $70 is going to be a hard sell. When you're looking at your competition, you want to make sure that you're looking at a sustainable brand that's producing domestically for your price points. Yeah, but if you can get on the 4 o'clock call to go through costing, that would be amazing. If you freelance designer, if you contract a freelance designer and they modify your initial design, do you give them credit for that? I'm new to the industry and I'm still trying to figure this kind of stuff out. So you'll definitely want to talk to a lawyer about the contracts, but with VMora, the contract says if you are hiring us for design work, once you pay for that design work, the design work is owned by you. So if you're working with a pattern maker or something similar, as long as you pay them for that work, and there's like an exchange of like, I'm hiring you for this, you do this, I pay you for this, and then I own this. That's pretty standard, but you'll want to have that in your contract. But that's what you hire a designer for, freelance. I'm just unsure how to market my designs without stepping designs. I see people using the term creative director, design tools a lot. So I'm just curious to know the proper protocol and etiquette. I think that is furthermore on the other question. Again, you'll want to talk to your designer. If you're hiring a designer and they're giving you designs, but if you're paying them for it, then you should own that work. Unless you have something worked out in the contract with that designer, where they're going to want credit. But again, all of this will be in your contract for an independent contractor agreement with your designer. So yes, probably best to get contracts. But the moral of the story is talk about all of this before you move forward. Have a sit down of your expectations, of their expectations, and make sure you're all on the same page. Because if you're working with a designer but they want credit for the design and you're paying them for those designs, you're usually buying those designs off of them and you own them. But definitely you want to have this conversation before you do any work. Do you offer launch services? Do you help with pop-up shops? I do. You can contact me. You can find my profile either on Makers Row or Embark Live. If you search my name through that platform, my page will come up. I went to try and pin it. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, it's not allowing me. I don't know why. It's not allowing me to pin it the way I want to. Okay. Let's see. Oh, stepping on any toes. Yeah, you don't have to worry about, this is business again. This is business. You want to have these clear conversations, put your expectations out, and you don't have to worry about stepping on anyone's toes. People will respect you for that. So just, come in and say, this is what I would expect and this is what I want in working together, and you don't have to worry about stepping on people's toes. Again, you can contact me through Makers Row. I'm Anna Livermore from VMora. I have a page both on Makers Row and the Embark platform. I would love to be on the 4 o'clock call, but I teach a live social media class at that time. Is there any other options to get the information? Yeah, so you can hire me through Embark Live, and I can take you through the costing one-on-one. The platform there, you can go search Anna Livermore. My page will come up, and you can just press book now. Let me know that you want to do costing, and we can do it that way. Okay, any other questions? Would you line a point pencil skirt? Would I line a pencil skirt, I think is what you're asking. It depends on the fabric. Depends on the fabric. If you're doing a thicker fabric, and it depends on your price point. If you're doing a more expensive price point, it should be lined. What is the minimum, you guys, I get this question all the time. What is the minimum budget you suggest to start a small children's wear brand? 3 to 5 items, 8 sizes. And unfortunately, that's not something I'd be able to answer unless we went through more details. I have a whole budgeting sheet that I run new designers through of like, this is how much things cost. This is what, a production of X amount will look like. You can spend anywhere from, very little to 100, 150,000. I mean, you can spend any amount of money to launch a brand. It's just how you spend it that you've got to pay attention. So that's why I run everyone through that budgeting sheet. I've got a template, and I have a blank one that I can bring you through. But I think the best thing would probably, there's no exact answer for me to give you, unfortunately. So, where are you located? I'm in New York. Yep, in the Garment District. You're welcome for the information. Okay, great. So, as always, I'm Anna Livermore from VMora. Sign up at Embark Live to work with the professionals and the experts on their platform. You can find me on Embark Live. You can find me through Makers Row. Through the Embark Live, you can book time with me directly. And like I said, at 4 o'clock, which is in 30 minutes, I'm doing a class on pricing your own garment. This is where I'll give you my template. I'll run you through how to use it, and then you'll be able to use it forever. You'll always know how to price your garment. All right, well, thank you guys so much. This will be posted on their page, so if you missed anything or didn't see the beginning, you can watch it on the Makers Row stories. You can watch it on their Facebook. It will be everywhere. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.